The electric age is well and truly here. More than 70 electric vehicles were launched in the UK in 2021, and so far in 2022, electric's share of new car registrations has nearly doubled. But there's one major issue to resolve: the UK's public charging infrastructure, which the government has criticised for being too unreliable and complex to use. Shell Recharge has asked Car Magazine to put its public charging network to the test. They've thrown down the gauntlet by asking us to drive coast to coast across the UK, from the beautiful White Sands beach in Wales all the way to Alburgh in Suffolk, via their latest EV-only charging hub in Fulham, southwest London. I'll be charging using the Shell Recharge network, keeping a close eye on the electricity costs so we can compare them with an equivalent diesel SUV, and I'll be seeing just how convenient or not it is to use Shell chargers. And I'll give you some top tips on how to preserve an EV's range. And that's going to be vital today because we're in the midst of a heat wave and the temperature in Wales yesterday reached a record 37.1 degrees C. But given our projected route is a solid 8 hours driving, we'd better get cracking. Come on, let's go. This is Kia's award-winning EV6, 2022's Car of the Year, as voted for by Europe's top motoring journalists. The maximum range is 328 miles on the official test cycle, but we're starting this morning with 279 miles. And given our route is at least 400 miles long, we could be visiting a few chargers. I've undertaken lots of long journeys in electric cars, and the secret is to plan ahead and be patient. You'll need to build in charging time. Keep watching this video and I'll explain the different chargers, show you different ways of paying and how long or quickly it takes to charge. I'm going to use the Shell Recharge app to plan my first stop. It's free to download and shows Shell Recharge Solutions' 10,000 plus UK public charger locations. It's fair to say chargers are more prevalent in London and the South East at the moment, but Shell has big plans to change that. By 2030, it wants 90% of all UK drivers to be within a 10-minute drive of a Shell rapid charger. There's one 50 kilowatt charger at Shell Swansea Bay, but we're going to try to reach Bristol to do this journey in just 2 stops. There's Shell Cribbs Causeway. Tap it and up comes the price of electricity, 55p per kilowatt hour, and the address. Right, let's get on the road. Driving an electric car is pretty straightforward, but one good tip is just to drive smoothly. So no jumping on the accelerator or the brakes, and that will really help preserve range. Welcome to Shell at Bristol Cribbs Causeway. We've covered 154 miles to get here, arrived with 39% battery left and about 100 miles of range. It's time to recharge. This is a Shell Recharge rapid charger with 3 connectors. There's this 50 kilowatt CHAdeMO DC charger for older Japanese cars like the Nissan Leaf. There's this 43 kilowatt alternating current charger. And there's this 50 kilowatt direct current CCS charger, and that's what we're going to use. It's more powerful and quicker than the 43 kilowatt one. Kia states that you can recharge an EV6 battery from 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes on a 350 kilowatt charger, but it would take a lot longer on this 50 kilowatt unit, especially in today's blistering heat. Our plan was to continue driving along the M4 to Swindon. There we could detour onto the North Wessex Downs to discover how an electric car feels on more fun roads than just a motorway. Time to finish the charge on the app and get on our way. That was an unusually slow charge, which I put down to the battery's high temperature in this extraordinary heat. It was about 120 miles to our next stop, Shell Recharge Fulham, but we have more than 200 miles of range, having charged for 91 minutes. There are a few reasons why you might consider not charging to 100%. Batteries fill up at their quickest to about 80%, but then they slow down. Also, if you repeatedly deep cycle batteries from full to empty to full to empty, it can degrade a battery's life. Plus, good charging etiquette is to get off the charger as quickly as possible to free it up for the next car, if you can. Another helpful thing to do is try to anticipate what the traffic is doing ahead of you. So if you see a queue of traffic forming and you need to slow down, just lift off. EVs are really good at capturing that kinetic energy from braking, and they'll use that to recharge the battery. Electric cars have a lovely distinctive driving style, and it's really centrally defined by its performance. Electric cars give a lot of punch and a lot of quick acceleration, and that's down to the fact that their electric motors give their torque instantly, like the flick of a switch, unlike a combustion engine which has to spool up to give its peak power. All that scenic driving was fun, but it used up range. Time to head for Shell's first UK all-EV charging hub. So we're cruising along the M4, doing 70 miles an hour, and it's at motorway speeds that electric cars really come into their own. Without the noise and vibration of a combustion engine, an electric car just has the edge in terms of quietness and refinement. So we've made it all the way to Shell Recharge Fulham, which is the company's first UK all-EV charging hub. Now, it's been really busy this morning with lots of cars charging, and there are even a few combustion engine vehicles coming in. There's no worry for them. If they need fuel, they can go down the road to Fulham Cross. The hub opened in January 2022, and Shell has installed 9 ultra-rapid 175 kilowatt chargers. Now, they are 3 times more powerful than the one we used at Shell Cribbs Causeway. Shell isn't just about fast forecourt charging. Its subsidiary, Ubitricity, has converted 5,000 lampposts to public EV charge points, and it aims to have increased this tenfold to 50,000 on-street chargers by 2025. Time to take a look around, then we can talk to Steve Bean, Shell's UK Network Delivery Manager. So I'm here with Steve Bean, Shell's UK Network Manager, and we're going to talk a little bit about this incredible new site. Steve, Shell is renowned as a fossil fuels company. What are you doing in terms of being serious about electrification?
Well, I think the first thing to say, we announced very recently that we're going to be investing 20 to 25 billion pounds in the UK on the energy transition. And a significant part of that is coming into the likes of this site at Fulham. How do we electrify our network? So 100,000 charge posts we're going to be investing by 2030. This is our first site that we've converted over from a petrol diesel forecourt to full electric, so very exciting.
So is this site a one-off, or are you going to be converting more fossil fuel sites to all EV charging hubs?
So this is our first conversion. We've got a pipeline of new locations that we want to have as EV only, but we mustn't forget the forecourts that we've already got, and how do we put charge posts on those?
Now, the carbon footprint of making an electric car is very energy intensive. It's greater than making a combustion engine car. What is Shell doing to make sure it provides clean energy to its sites?
Well, there's a couple of things. One is all of our forecourts and EV chargers are powered by renewable energy. And we also mentioned that we're investing 20 to 25 billion in the UK, which is all about the energy transition. And we've recently announced a partnership with Scottish Power, where we're doing an offshore wind farm that will provide energy to approximately 6 million homes.
Steve, thanks for your time.
Great, nice to meet you.
The UK government has eliminated the plug-in car grant, meaning there is no longer any subsidy to reduce the cost of acquiring an EV. However, there are still local incentives, such as London's Cleaner Vehicle Discount. You pay a small fee to register your car, and you have to renew it annually. But if you do so, that will qualify you for congestion charge exemption up until 2025. It's scheduled to expire on Christmas Day that year. By the time we were on the A12 heading through Essex, we covered way more than 300 miles, and it was beginning to feel like a real odyssey. Time to turn on the radio and get some music to pick me up.
It's Nick Snaith here. Now, we all love a road trip in the summertime, but our friends at Car Magazine are taking it a step further because they've been challenged by Shell to go coast to coast in an EV car to show just how easy it is to use Shell Recharge chargers. So a big hello and good luck to our friends at Car Magazine. And the next song from Take That
Ooh,
is just for them.
that was a surprise. I was hungry for a curry. Time to pull over in rural Dedham Vale. So after 484 miles of electric driving, we've made it to our final destination, Albury in Suffolk. And what have we learned? Right now, electric cars are cheaper to run than combustion engine cars. We drove 484 miles and our recharging cost was £56.63p. In comparison, 484 miles in a Kia Sorento diesel SUV would cost about £100 right now, with a litre of diesel costing just under £2, if you manage to achieve the official WLTP fuel consumption rate. And that near £57 cost was charging on public chargers, which for most EV drivers will be the exception, not the norm. Charge regularly from your home wall box, and your electricity should cost significantly less than the public charger rate. We've shown that you can drive coast to coast in an electric car with a bit of planning and patience and using Shell Recharge, even in the blistering heat of Britain's hottest ever heat wave. And it was fun too. I thoroughly enjoy driving electric cars. They're quick, calming and blissfully high-tech. And we emitted 0 carbon dioxide emissions because Shell Recharge is supplied by 100% certified renewable energy. And EV travel should get easier and more convenient if Shell for one makes good on its promise to grow from in excess of 10,000 chargers today to 55,000 by 2025. But that's for another day. Right now, I need to drive home.